Hey guys, it's Beard Queen and welcome back to my channel. I'm still filming on my phone. I cannot find my camera anywhere since the move, but I'm going to be doing my Gerald just woke up. But this video is going to be a book review on The Institute by Stephen King. I finished it just before she was born, and I finally now got to sit down to come talk about it. I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything like that. I don't see the point. I feel like everyone should read this book because it is it's an interesting one. So I love Stephen King's books. Always have, probably always will. Pet Sematary is one of my favourites from him, as well as The Shining and Dr. Sleep are my favourite movies from him. And I have a very large Stephen King book collection. And I have read a lot of his books and seen a lot of his movie. Like, I can't say that word right now. I'm half asleep, guys. But basically, I've read books throughout his whole career. And I've watched, you can tell which book's been written when, if you know anything about Stephen King's history. And The Institute is no different. The writing, for me personally, having read a lot of Stephen King books, was a bit, I don't want to say bad, but it wasn't the usual standard I expect. But that's okay. It was still an amazing story, and I'm not going to complain because I really enjoyed the story and I will read it again and again and again. And I definitely think it's worth the money. It's just when you're a Stephen King fan and have read a lot of his work, reading that, it just doesn't live up to the standard you have in your head from his earlier work. But that's okay because everyone changes. And as a writer, I do understand that your writing techniques and tone and everything change over time. And it's not every book you ever write is going to sound the same as your originals, which is good. So The Institute, it reminded me a lot about I think it's the wilderness program where the kids get kidnapped in real life. I don't remember what it's called, but I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and TikToks about it, and I think it's horrible. But to me, it's kind of like that. These kids get kidnapped and taken to the Institute, and they all have magical abilities, obviously, because it's Stephen King. And without trying to spoil, they kind of perform experiments on them, which isn't like the wilderness program. That's more like World War II sort of stuff. It's really complicated, try not to spoil stuff, okay? But the main character does make friends and all this cool stuff, and it's very good read, and I definitely recommend it. The book is a bit all over the place though, because it swaps between two characters. It swaps because the two main characters, this cop guy who's like a night person in this town, and then this little boy, and it does swap all over the fucking place. And then later on, it kind of swaps again to someone else's point of view. It's really complicated, and there's no, clear who's talking change. You kind of just piece it together. When I first started reading it, I was so confused. It took me a couple of days to be able to get into the book. So this guy helps, you do, after a couple of days, work out the different character tones, and then can work out where in the story you are with the different characters swapping back and forth, because it isn't really shown who's going to be speaking. You just start a new chapter and it's swapped. But the book is in parts, which does make it easier to read, as well as chapters. And of course, in true Stephen King fashion, some chapters are like 20 pages, and other chapters is half a page. I feel that as a writer, I really do. But it's Stephen King fashion, and he sticks true to that with his chapter lengths, which I did like. It has been a while since I read the book, but I do remember exactly what happens. I'm just trying not to spoil it. So this is a very hard video to film. And baby is getting fussy, so I have to try and wrap up this video. Okay, hold up. So backtracking a little bit, because I don't want to spoil too much, but I don't want this to be a very short video, so it's going to be the last kind of thing I say before I wrap up this video. And I know this is a shit book review, I'm sorry. But the Institute, they do take you, and they do, this is a mini spoiler, but they do dispose of anyone that could get in the way of taking these kids. And that is bad, obviously. But they have very limited resources in the Institute for these kids, and once they pass or fail these tests that they run, they get moved into the back of the Institute as kind of like a beehive sort of thing to channel out all their bad stuff. I'm not spoiling things here, I'm just, yeah. But I definitely recommend reading it. I know this was a shit book review, and I started off saying it wasn't what I lived up to for Stephen King, but that was more the writing side of it. But I definitely recommend reading this book, especially before the TV show comes out, because I read somewhere in the line works that there's a TV show going to be coming up, which I actually can't wait to see how they do that. But TV shows, movies always ruin books, so I don't know. But I do think it would be an amazing TV show and movie. And it kind of follows the sort of TV shows and movies I watch now. So I'm kind of excited to see how that turns out, if it goes forwards in production. I don't know what stage they are in or anything. All I heard was that it was in the air about doing it, and that people had been set up to film it and everything, but I don't know where in production they are, if it'll get cancelled, what's going to happen with it. But I definitely recommend the book. It's like a 9 out of 10 rating for me, but that only one is just because it didn't live up to what I have in my head as a Stephen King fanatic. But that's because I haven't really read any of his newer books. This was the first newer book I've read in a few years. I normally stick to the classics like Carrie and Pet Sematary. What else? Insomnia. Books like that. I mainly stick to his older works. But I am trying to build up my book collection of Stephen King, so that's when I bought the Institute and wanted to read it, because I was really interested, and it didn't let me down whatsoever. It was a whirlwind of emotions. I think I read the book in like a month, and that was heavily pregnant sleeping all the time. So it's definitely worth it. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you've watched it, what you thought. Read it, and let me know what you thought. And if you haven't, let me know if you're going to, or what your favourite Stephen King book or movie is. All his movies are based off his books, but you know what I mean. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry the video was a whirlwind. I'm exhausted, and I had to film this video because it's going to go up in 2 days and it's going to take a while to edit. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!